Energy US niggas, Ethiopian kings, we bring things. Ooh. Energy US niggas, Ethiopian kings, we bring things. Them some lyrics I wrote back in 1994, maybe 1992. Yeah. Hey, yo. Get the Anchor app, y'all, so y'all can listen to your boy. For real. Y'all can get the raw, uncut news. Yeah. Get the Anchor app. Greetings. This is Yasha bin Israel for the Yasha bin Israel Terry Whitfield podcast show. Today I have a very good topic, a taboo topic. You know, this is the place where we prance through the fog just to glance through the smog. You know, this is the place where I talk about things they don't want you to know and things that people do not like to talk about. Yeah, because we got the answers over here. And the answers could be quite gruesome. Only the strong can survive the truth. Today's topic of discussion is, does her body count matter? Does her body count matter? Yeah. Now, before I get started, I also want to say I'm going to do a contrast to this. I'm going to do a show about, does his body count matter? But now I'm going to deal with this one. Does her body count matter? It all depends. That's the best answer. It all depends. It depends on the kind of man that she has. Does she have a strong man? Does she have a weak man? Does she have a spiritual man? Does she have a non-spiritual man? Does she have a religious man? Does she have a non-religious man? Does she have a high-value man, low-value man, or medium-value man? There's a lot of factors involved in that. For example, does her body count matter? The answer would be yes for a priest. Might I make a correction? The answer would be yes for a Levitical priest. That answer is kind of sarcastic. The sarcasm in that is, you're not going to find many Levitical priests nowhere. Not one who is active. Now, you may find some bloodline descendants of Levitical priests. I say that to say because the Levitical priest, according to the scriptures, was to marry a virgin and the husband of one wife. I believe in the New Testament, a bishop is to be a husband of one wife. The sarcasm and the irony and all of that is that you're not going to find a Levitical priest, not one who has been raised for office in the world today in 2021, nor will you find a virgin. The chances of you finding a virgin is a needle in a haystack, and you'll find a greater chance of finding a virgin than you would a Levitical priest. being that there is no priests, you have a whole bunch of religious followers and practitioners who should follow after the priests, or that the ways of the priest should be the lifestyle in which they should ascertain, because the priests were the ones who gave them their guidance and their leadership when it came to the discerning and the understanding of the things of God. So, being that there's no priest today, you do have pastors, ministers, and mores and imams and different religious leaders in monotheism. And maybe the body count should matter to them, but in a lot of cases it doesn't. But the question is not, does her body count matter to you or to a particular individual? It is, does her body count matter in life? Does her body count matter in reality? And on the flip side of the yes, there's a large majority of non-spiritual men, non-religious men, and godless men. Men who are misguided spiritually, mentally, intellectually. Men who have been suppressed and oppressed to the point to where they are mentally, physically, and spiritually weak men. No, her body count doesn't matter. Doesn't matter one bit. To the man who is morally weak, spiritually weak, and mentally weak, he could have a sexual encounter with a woman right after the next man pulled himself right on out of there. A large amount of the male population that the body count does not matter. And the reason why I state that is because of the high promiscuity practiced amongst the females in the United States of America. If a man was to be adamant about body count today, then he would never have any sex. If he had large concerns about a body count, then he would never ever have any sexual encounters at all. Because all of the women have body counts. And if you was to have an issue with it, then you would not be able to have any sexual encounters. And in fact, if you was to act like you have issue with that, a woman more than likely would not want anything to do with you. If you ever fixed your mind to prepare your mouth to propel a question about her body count, that relationship is probably not going to go past that question. And if it does, she is going to be dishonest and to lie to you. Now, to the man, to individual men, her body count may not matter. But in reality, it does. Because any woman that have felt compelled to answer that question when it was presented to them about her body count, she felt some kind of way about that question. All of them are. And it's not a good feeling. So they lie to you about the number. See, when you're an alpha male like myself, an Israelite alpha male, a holy one, a righteous one who lives the best way he can according to the laws of Moshe. When you're an alpha male like me, you can ask that question and get not the true answer, but a truthful answer. You got to know how to do it and when to do it if you really wanted to know the answer to that. One thing for certain is you do not do it at the beginning of the relationship. You do not do it during the stage in when you're dating and pursuing her. When I ask the question, it is when we are involved in our most intimate engagements, which is conversating. You know, me and my women have real deep conversations. And in these conversations, I'm giving support, I'm giving guidance, okay? I'm giving advice, and I'm giving my love. But when I ask the question, you best to believe it is well after I done hit the cuckoo. All right? After we have had a sexual encounter, well after, months on down the line, maybe even a year or so, those are the times in which I ask that question. And it's always at the time when we're involved in our deepest, most emotional conversations. One of the key arts into getting a girl to fall in love with you, which is another conversation, and I'll do another video about that, and podcast and a show about that, is to be attentive to her and to listen to her. When you do that, you do it the right way, you can gain her trust, and she will tell you. Now, when you're an alpha male like myself, and you present that question, you're going to get a truthful answer. And I asked the woman that, and we have stayed together. We probably lived together about 4 years, about 3 or 4 years. And maybe somewhere within that second year, as we were having deep, intense, heavy conversation, I asked the question. You know, we may have had a conversation about jealousy or something, or this or that. You know, one of those conversations that would lean this way towards that, you know. And I would let her know that, hey, I done slept with a lot of motherfuckers. You know, I let her know right off the back. I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, I don't give a fuck. Hey, I do. That's what I did. Hey, I'm not with none of them. I ain't trying to go back to none of them. I don't give a fuck. Hey, I did it. That's my past, you know. And she feel comfortable enough to give you an idea. And I asked, you know, how many people have you been with? And girl was shocked. You know, like, oh, and this is pretty, the number is pretty high. I say, I mean, like, high, like what? Well, it's up there. I mean, like what, like 50, like 20, like 100, like 200? She said, well, it's up there. I can respect that because that is a truth-filled answer. And the true reason why she didn't give a number is because most women are so careless out here that they don't even count the number. They don't even care to count. And the reason that she don't know, she understands when confronted with that question because they never think about it. They call it riding the carousel. Okay? and they ride it like a kid rides the merry-go-round, just happy and jolly. If they are at that park long enough, they're not gonna count how many times they got on that carousel and jumped on different horses and got back off and got in the line. They're trying to get back in line again to have more fun and more fun. And if they stay there long enough, they will actually begin to lose count of how many times they rode on the carousel and how many times they rode the same horse on the carousel. And if they roll all of the horses on the carousel, and when confronted, because they had so much fun doing it, they lost track and lost count of the reality that the numbers have actually piled up. And when you ask a female that type of question, you make her soul search, at least for a minute, and then she may slam and stop on the brakes and get defensive. That is the usual line of progression. And then after that, she's going to give you a very non-exact, a non-clear answer. And when you asked her that, it gave her some soul searching. And at that moment, when she begins to respond, especially if it's negative, a negative response or a lying response, a truthless response, it is at that point that she faces a sense of embarrassment, this awkward feeling. She begins to feel this uncomfortable awkwardness, which is called embarrassment. And then she will proceed to give you the answer of her choosing. But because of this embarrassment exists because in the reality, her body count does matter. Even to the man who claims that it does not matter, because her body count is taboo. It's this secret, you see? It's a secret that nobody know but her. Now, your experience is between you and her, but she also has an experience between her and him, and her and the other guy, and her and the other guy. And each one of y'all have given her the power, and now your reality has become her secret. She may have 10 secrets. She may have 50 secrets. She may have 500 secrets. Your sexual reality has become her secret. And that is because in the reality, her body count matters. It may not matter to you. It may not matter to her. But in the reality of this existence, in the sight of God, basically, in the reality of this existence, her body count does matter. If her body count does not matter, why is it that she can't say, I probably slept with maybe, I don't know, probably about 163 men, about 163, 165, somewhere around there. I may have lost count between one or two. You know, how come she can't say that? Because in reality, it matters. It may have never ever mattered to her at all, But at that point when she begins to respond, her body count matters to her now. And to make sure that this secret, well, these secrets don't matter to you, she has to lie to you. Wow, that's heavy. Yes, her body count matters. I wish that I could have said it another way, because that's pretty much it all in a nutshell. You know, and you got some guys that'll date a woman, I remember a lady that, I remember when I was getting married. The young lady that I first married. And I worked with a guy who lived in the neighborhood in which she lived in. And the word had gotten out that I was about to get married soon. And, as it got closer to the date, the heat of the moment and the conversation was up in the air, And maybe I may have had to say something to my supervisor about, I'm going to take these days off or something. I'm getting married, so this, that, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Somehow it got all out in the air. And one day me and the guy was talking, and I said, the girl I'm finna marry, she knows you. And I said, such and such and such and such. I called her by name. And he tried to act like he didn't know her, you know what I'm saying? I was like, he didn't say anything. He was trying to think like he had to figure out who I was talking about. And then after I gave a description and told the block that she stayed on and this, that, and yeah, she used to go with such and such. Oh man, you about to marry her? See that feeling right there? No man wants that feeling. I saw a video where a lady had made the statement, nice looking lady, hoochie mama type, a video vixen type, and she was saying that the only type of man that would fix his mouth to ask that type of question, or any man that is concerned about that, will be the type of man that she's not looking for. A man, because that man is a man who presents himself as one who is insecure in his penis size. Because if he had a big penis, he wouldn't give a damn about how many numbers that she got. The problem with that is, when you analyze that type of statement, it is really not an answer to the question as much so as it is a diversion from the question, and it is also an ad hominem attack. It is a distraction. It is a red herring distraction to distract from her emotion that she felt when she did that soul searching. When you forcefully asked her that question and forced her to do a quick soul searching, she didn't like it. And now she's finna project that feeling that you made her feel onto you for asking her that. And in doing such, she is going to attack the man for asking that type of question. And how she did that was talking about, well, maybe he got a little penis. Basically what she is stating is that maybe I've been so ran through that I need a big one. And maybe you ain't got that. So maybe you're insecure. that answer told a lot. Maybe, and it was a truth-filled answer, but it was pejorative. It was meant to hurt. It was intended to hurt. And the question wasn't intended to hurt. The man just may have wanted to know. He may have wanted to know what he's dealing with. One of the main reasons that it matters and that it should matter to any man or woman's body count is that when you apply the scientific method through deep observation and research and experimentation, application, and examining the results. That's the scientific method. When you apply the scientific method, you will find that the more men that a woman have a sexual encounter with, the harder it is for her to parabond. And the easier it becomes for her to invite new people, new men inside of her womb. Which also makes it easy for her to cheat on you and makes her a very untrustful being in the dynamics of a relationship. It doesn't matter whether it's a boyfriend and girlfriend or just even in a casual relationship. When you're having sexual encounters and extending yourself to people, you want to be able to trust this particular type of person. And when you understand that a female has a high body count, it takes a fool to want to be able to put his trust and love to invest any of that inside of an individual in whom he can't trust. One who's quick to give it up to other men, and one who is going to more than likely down the line hurt you by breaking up with you. See, because when a woman breaks up with a man, a lot of times she done broke up with him a long time ago, and she's just playing the game with this guy, stringing him along. You know, this is when you start to see her fall back. This is when you start to see her not rationing out the sex with you, because these are signs that she is losing interest in you and gaining interest in somebody else. And once her interest comes to full bloom in someone else, then she just monkey branches on over to that relationship. She ends the relationship with you. And this is the reason why men take the relationship so hard, because she would take a relationship hard. If let you just up today, any man, let you up today at any time break up with a woman. You know what, baby? I can't do this anymore. I'm ready to call it quits, Mom. I think it's time to call it quits. Ma, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do this one. I ain't going to be able to do it. Let you begin to tell a woman these things, especially if you just did it Johnny on the motherfucking spot. She will crack the fuck up. She will crack up. So, she would take that type of information much harder than the pain that she's going to put the man through because she broke up with him. Johnny on the spot when her heart has left the relationship a long time ago. She has an unfair advantage. That's why she can, your heart broken and you wilding around nowhere and she's off into another relationship a week or two, full-fledged, after you broke up, or later, after she broke up with you. And you can wonder, how can she be so heartless? The heart is gone. It's been gone. It's been 2, 3, 4 months the heart has been gone. These are the practices that a female exercise when she has a high body count. She loses the ability to be trusted, and she loses the ability to parabond. Now, some man she will trick and seduce to trust her, but if he knew the exact number to the count, he would not trust her. And she knows this, and this is the reason why she lies to every man that will ever ask that question. So, a woman's body count, the higher her body count is, the easier it becomes for her to make connections and disconnections with other men. And the danger in that on her end is that any man that she makes a connection to, she truly never makes a cut, slice, split disconnection. You know, these women will go off into the next relationship with the other man and will always be thinking about the men of her past. She will find herself, because this is the computer age, she will find herself going to look on men of her past, Instagram and Facebook pages, you know, to find photos, to see what they looking like now and see how they doing and see if they progression or not, and to see if she made the right decision when she called herself picking the better man. She's never really sure, because there was something about you that she liked. She's afraid that whatever that was in you that she liked have actually manifested and began to bloom. Women break up with men, they never ever close the door. And I'll break up with a woman, I close the door, I lock it, deadbolt it, throw the bar on it, and chain as well. You know, and I'm looking for some gates to throw up. The gated door. The door is shut. Women don't like to shut the door. They never shut the door completely. That's because they always want to be able to look in through the other side, you know, to see what's going on in that man's world. Just in case one day she might want to just ease like a little rat right on over into the other side real quick and then come back. Or just ease on over there and try to stay over there. Especially if things is cracking over there. And being that if she had 20 partners, 50 partners, 70 partners, 100, 160, 300 partners, as she progressed up to the present number, it became easier for her to put men in these awkward positions, to break up with them. For that's 10 failed relationships, 20 failed relationships, 50 failed relationships, 100 failed relationships. The older she is, the older she gets, she has not found marriage, you should look at her very, very bad for that. You're 40 years old and you never got married? You're 50 years old and never been married? You're 30 years old and you're not married? That should be looking at as a bad thing, because you're looking at 10, 15, 20, 30 years of riding the cock carousel. The older she is, the less she can prove that she's been in long, faithful relationships. The less interested a man should be in investing his money, his time, his love, and his energy in such type of bad investment. It is a bad investment because it is an investment that is likely to fall on the stock market. It is an investment that has depleted in value when you decide to invest in it. And it's further depleting as the days go by. Yes, her body count mattered. This is why her body count mattered. From the very first man that sexually copulates with her, that sexually penetrates her, that sexually inseminates her, he set the model for every man that she chooses. These women are not being raped. These women choose the men who enter inside of them. You understood Briffel's law? Briffel's law stated that it is the woman who is responsible for the relationship. It is she the one who has the power in the relationship to say whether this thing is a no or a go. When a man go holler at a woman, the power is in the woman, and it's based upon her acceptance of him or her rejection of him. Briffel's law states that if a man presents no benefit to a woman, no such relationship can exist. And this is something that is not only expressed in human beings, but all throughout the animal kingdom. And the human being is the highest up in the hierarchy of the animal kingdom, because the animal, the word animal, the root word is anima, which means live. Man is highest up in the hierarchy of the living, moving, breathing beings on this planet. So you got the first man who done set the mold. Every man that goes up in there, it's like the potter to the clay. The man is the potter and the woman is the clay. Wherever that hand moves on that pot and how it moves, the skill of his movement shapes the pot. The potter shapes the pot. The man is the potter and the woman is the clay. And together, the hand and the clay forms the pot. The union. You see? But it is the hand that molds the clay. And every man that goes in there molds that woman a particular way. And she remembers every one of those moldings. She will always compare you to every man that she has been with. That's how she know if you the prize to her or not. You don't think she know? when you have sex with her, where your sex rank at in her experiences, you dumb fool? And you don't think she rank you amongst those many multiple experiences, you dumb fool? She does. God forbid, my brother, you may not have been the best one. You may not have been the chief with the big dick or the biggest dick. I'm sorry. Your sex may not have been the greatest. And you will be compared to that. God forbid that she goes forward in a relationship with you knowing that you was not the best she ever had, brother. Seducing you, making you feel as good as if though that you was. Have you walking around in deceit, in the dark cloud, and foolishness of love. It take a fool to learn. Love don't love nobody. Yeah, you walking around in the foolishness of love, and she's really not where you at. You married this woman, live with her. She's in your house, eating your food, wearing the clothes that you provided, laying in your bed, thinking about another man. Worse, talking to and communicating with another man. And when this happens, it's a great chance, especially if this woman is in a relationship. You dig what I'm saying? It's a great chance that if she is like unhappy in this relationship, it's a great chance that out of comparing you with those men of the past, it is a great chance that she is communicating with one of the men, if not several of the men of her past, my friend. She could be one who has been so run through that she's learned how to disconnect herself from the men of her past. And now she's going to be talking to the guy at work, a new guy. That's when when you find her cheating with the new guy, that is a woman of an exceptionally high body count. One who has practiced the connection, disconnection, the connection, disconnection, the connection, disconnection, so much to where she have learned how to a perfection, how to disconnect emotionally whatsoever. Most women are emotionally connected to the man that is going up inside of them. Don't ever let no woman fool you. And it has to be a woman of an exceptionally high body count that can disconnect from the man who is having sex with her. And because of the practice of the connect, disconnect, the connect, disconnect, the connect, disconnect, she can easily go and connect with men. She can easily go sleep with other men. She can easily pull them panties down. She can easily lift that dress up. You dig? Because of the practice of so many connections, she can easily connect with these guys. And likewise, she can easily disconnect. And she could practice this so much to where she can have a complete disconnection from men whom she's been with. You tell me that a woman's body count don't matter? You are not in reality. Because the reality of it is that, no, her body count don't matter to most men. At least they portray this lie. They have to portray this lie, because if they don't, then they won't have sex. The sex just can't take place. The chemistry involved to make it happen just can't happen. So people have to live this lie that it doesn't matter, when in reality it does. The truth of the matter is, don't no man want to be in love with a woman. Imagine you and your wife at the mall, or you and your girlfriend at the mall, and there's this guy he happens to be looking at y'all. You know that look, that well, you have to be like, hey, do you know him from somewhere? he look over there and get that little nod, yeah, I get that look. What man is comfortable with that feeling? When you say you are my girlfriend, when you say you are my woman, when you say you are my wife, that my part, see, you want to be the woman, the wife, but the mine, that part express ownership. You understand? And the minute a man is confronted, especially in person, with another man who has been with his woman, the very fabric of the idea of ownership is challenged. Any woman who have been taught game in the gynocracy and understand some of the lessons of the whole code. One of the whole code's messages, there's laws and rules that's passed down. The game that is passed down to these women, to other women, is that if you want to get back at a man, go get another one real fast and real quick. Because they know that when a man is confronted with his woman being with another man, the whole idea, whether it's in his mind or in reality, the whole idea of his ownership is challenged. And then you have this woman that will play this type of game with you like you're insecure. You're insecure. But how can I be secure that what is said to be mine is really mine, when in reality it never was mine and never could be mine? How in the hell can I be secure with that? It's an oxymoron. The body count matters. A woman compares you to every man that she's been with. I'll tell y'all a little story about, I know a female that I talk to, and she always tells me about how every guy that her sister gets, he abuses her. Every guy she gets always beats her and this, that, and the third. And she don't understand why every man that she gets with does these things. Women would like to try to portray the idea that these men are just bad and fucking men. he beats on women, they're bad men. They're bad men. But if you have a series and a history or a body count, all of those that are in your body count are men that are abusive men, then the problem really is not these men, it is the woman, because she is the magnet for these particular type of men. And understanding Briffel's law that a relationship can't exist unless she says yes or no, then she attracts and invites. She accepts and attracts these type of men into her being, into her life, and into her womb. Why does this type of woman keep attracting this same type of man? It is because this type of woman, the very first man who took her virginity, has set the mold. He beat her, he abused her. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all she likes. She's looking for that first man, and every man, he has to have that quality. Now, let's say if the very first man that a woman slept with, if this man just happened to have an exceptionally huge penis, I'm going to give a number, 12, 13 inches. And she liked that man, he'd been with her for a long time. The reality of the matter is that ain't no 6-inch, 7-inch, or 8-inch man ever going to make this woman happy. Why? Because her sexual past, that first man set the mold. So in her experiences of, having sexual encounters with men, she's going to learn that if this man is not at least this big, I can't have him. Which means that she has to experience many men. She has to see many men at least pull down their pants before she can really say, okay, yes, this is a no. This is a yes, this is a no. She has to have many experiences. This is some of the reasons why her body count mattered. Because the very first man to have had sex with her sets the mold. If she met a guy, pretty well-to-do guy, doing well, let's say he's a rich guy, a guy that was pretty wealthy, the first guy spoiled her, bought her everything. I'm talking about spoiled her. No bum, broke man is going to really make this woman happy. Because the first man sets the mold. So you are in comparison to every man that she's ever been with. Not only are you in comparison with them, you are in competition with them. The irony here is that because you have her now, you are the best man. That's where the irony in all of this is at, because that is the biggest fallacy in logic. You are the most available. You are the best of the options that she has at the present. You're not the best she ever had. I remember I was confronted like that. I dated a chick at work, and it was nothing but sex, at first, really that's all it really ever was, just sex, and but we was closely knit having sex, kind of like boyfriend and girlfriend, but not quite, just real hung together and just had a lot of sex. We enjoyed being together, And just when we wasn't having sex, we enjoyed being together. We became kind of like friends and shit, you know. But when the sex stopped, the whole encounter stopped. After, it becomes obvious that you and this girl here got something going on. There was a guy who happened to let me know, yeah, man, I heard your girl suck good dick. I said, your girl's a real dick sucker or something like that. And I'm like, wow, really? I said, damn. I tell you what, I don't know about, I heard she sucked my boy dick. I say, man, I don't know nothing about who dick she done suck. I have no idea how many she sucked. But I say, all I know is it's my turn now, buddy. She so sucking the shit out of man. See, I know how to handle that. I'm not one who is insecure with that. But at the same time, even in my security, don't no man like to be confronted like that. Don't no man like being put in the awkward position of having to be confronted with his dominance and his ownership being challenged. It's a challenge to a man's manhood. What is a man dominating? A man dominates that which is his property, things he owns, things he loves, territorial, his. He marks all of this to himself. That's why he dominates. He don't dominate just to want to be the king of the world. He wants to dominate that which is his. Having what's yours is a vital part of manhood. And a woman's body count is a great, 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 great threat and enemy to a man's manhood. Yes, a woman's body count matters. That being stated, this will conclude today's episode of the Terry Whitfield Yasha Ben Israel podcast show. I told y'all this was going to be a good one. Y'all gonna learn something today, baby. I'm out of here. Y'all stay tuned for the next one. This will be on all of the podcast stations, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, all of them. This will also be on YouTube. I'd like for you to like, share, and to subscribe. And if any of my videos have blessed you, you can also donate. I'd appreciate it. Stay tuned for the next fiery episode called Does His Body Count Matter? Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Yeah, you thought this one going to stir some souls. The next one is going to stir some souls. Hey, y'all, I'm out of here. I love y'all. Do understand that all of my podcasts are geared to give us knowledge that they don't want us to know, so we can perpetuate a better world. That being stated, I am Yasha Ben Israel signing out. Shalom, shalom.